Hey Disney Cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community. We are so excited tonight to be talking about cruises, not just for your family, but for your extended family, those multi-generational cruises, or even cruises with extended friends. But you guys know me, I'm Rebecca. I'm your host and admin here in the DCL community, and we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited about all things Disney cruising. And we are so excited to be joined by Laura Greco. Laura, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura with Fairy Tale Journeys by Laura, and I am here to talk to you about multi-general cruises and vacations because they are fun.
Yes. Oh, I am so excited to learn more about this one. I know my family's gone with other families before, but having a bigger family party, I know is something that you have a lot of experience with, right? You're going
Yes,
on a cruise
yes.
sometimes. It sounds like your dog is super excited in the background with that
Oh, you
squeak.
can hear that? I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
Leo, hold on.
no.
Leo.
I love it. You guys will have to let us know as you're coming in the comments. Do you have cruises booked with multiple generations? Are you thinking about it? And I know Laura was about to say you've got a cruise coming up with your
I
different
do.
generation, right?
I do. I'm so sorry about the dog.
No,
Um,
listen, we've all been there. If you have a pet, let us know in the comments because I feel like we've all been on calls where there's an animal in the background doing its own thing.
so I'm going on a cruise next week, and in tow will be my grandchildren, their first cruise ever, and they are 10 and 8,
Ooh.
and my oldest son and his wife will be there as well, their very first Disney cruise. Of course, my other sons, not their first Disney cruise, but their girlfriends who have never cruised before, and then my sister and brother-in-law as well. So
Awesome.
we have 4 staterooms and all different ages. I can't tell you the last time I had to worry about kids in a kids club.
Yeah.
Not that that's a worry. I'm just saying that I've been cruising adult only on Disney Cruise Line for so many cruises that this is so exciting.
Yes. Oh, so many great generations. It's so exciting that you're going to be there for your grandkids' first Disney cruise. I know you guys are probably thinking Laura doesn't look old enough to have grandkids, and you're right. I'll never believe it either. But as we're going through, we have a
Bless
bunch
you.
of really great questions that were submitted. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to send those in, and we will do our best to answer all of those. If you guys want to reach out to Laura, we'll put her information up on screen. And we'll also put that in the comments so that you guys can reach out to her. Her services are totally free for you to use, and she's here to help you book any Disney trip. So I guess let's start. I know we already have some comments coming in, which is great. We got a question
Okay.
from Lori. Any recommendations for older family with mobility issues traveling with younger family?
Oh, first of all, the ships are made for people no matter what the mobility is. So if you are looking at a Disney cruise, there's no issues with that whatsoever. So you can definitely do that. Um, Mobility issues with a younger family, there's no problem. I would say pick a ship that you like, and
Mhm.
then we would talk about what excursions are good for people with mobility issues, because that's the only place. It's not the ship, it's going to be what port adventures you choose.
Yes. And let's talk a little bit more about that. How do you find out which cruise is best for your family? Like if someone's watching right now and they're thinking about getting planning and they reach out to you, how do you have that conversation about which is best for multi-generational?
Well, I guess what I start with is, what is your family actually looking to do? Are you looking for beaches? Are you looking for Alaska? Or are you looking for Canadian coast? Or are you looking for Europe? It really is going to depend. It's not so much the ship, it's the itinerary. Disney built 5 beautiful ships, so you're not going to be upset on any of them. It's not the ship that we discuss, it's actually what you want to do. Um, and
Yeah.
then we build from there.
Yeah, because all the ships have the great adult only spaces, all the ships have the great kids clubs. So
Exactly.
it's not, if your kid loves Frozen, it's not just about, there's not one Frozen ship.
Right. There's just no, there's not. I mean, there's a Frozen show on the Fantasy. There's, the restaurant Arendelle on the Wish, and there's no one theme on any cruise ship that Disney built. It's just the decor that they change.
Yes, agreed. And I know you mentioned it a second ago about excursions. So when you're looking at excursions, that might be great for a whole family. If you've got little ones and then you've got someone who might be a little bit more senior and have a wheelchair or walker, how do you help your clients decide what's going to be the best excursion for the whole family?
Well, when we have littles, and it's really not so much the older generations, it's the littles, because they're very limited on what they can do. So if it has to do with snorkeling, or that's a big one, catamarans that go snorkeling, or any kind of thing that you do in the water, you usually find that that age starts, you're able to book that like age 5 and up, and some don't even let you go unless you're 8 and up, and then you have adult only. So there's really something for the whole family. I think what families, the big groups, they make a common mistake, and that's to think they have to do everything together. Because
Okay.
I'm a big, if one family wants to go to the beach for a couple hours and one family wants to go zip lining, everybody should be having a good time on vacation. So you always come back to the ship. You'll always eat dinner on the ship. So when we talk about for whole family, we're looking at beach excursions or something like that, because the littles are going to be very, there are very few that are other than tours,
Got it.
for the littles.
So don't be afraid to break the family up. You guys can all do all sorts of things together on board. But if you have a group of 5 that want to do one thing versus another, that's okay. And Laura can kind of help coordinate those pieces. And
It's a huge mistake. It's such stress. Like, you're not going to all be able to do the same. You're not going to all want to do the same thing. So don't get upset. Just go do your couple hour port adventure, come back to the ship.
yes, I was going to say any family that could get along for that extended period of time, just spending all their time together, it's got to be up there with like the Brady Bunch with the Kumbaya. I feel like everybody needs a minute to do their own thing.
Right. And every family is going to want a little bit of family alone time. So sometimes those port adventures are really perfect for that.
Yes. Oh, that's such a great point. And if you are traveling with multiple different families, how do you make sure that you're all eating dinner together? Or if we do all want to do the same excursion, how do we make sure that those are all linked together?
Okay, so those are actually two different processes. So the process to eat dinner and be on the same dining rotation with the same wait staff and the same table, that is done by your travel agent or through Disney Cruise Line. All you do is, when the reservations are booked, we link them for dining. So that means that when they pull your reservations on the ship, they're going to seat you together. Now, big parties, keep in mind that if you're traveling with, 13, 14 people, it might be 2 separate tables next to each other with the same wait staff, but you will be sitting together at dinner your whole entire time. When it comes to port adventures, that's something that we do. So once your staterooms are linked on the back end, when you sign in after you do your check-in to book your port adventures, you'll see all the staterooms up to 4. If you've linked more than 4, you're not going to see any but your own. 4 is the limit.
Okay. Is there a
Yes,
reason for that, or just out of curiosity?
Disney just says that, I think it's just too many on, not the screen per se, but I think in the back end, so many people planning for one person, like one person for everybody. I think that gets overwhelming on Disney's back end, because if you want to cancel a big party, one person wants to cancel, the whole thing gets, and then you have to hope to rebook it. So I think it just is easier to maintain the 4 staterooms. So that you do, and then you can choose who's on what port adventure with you.
Got it. Okay. And that's a great segue into this question. If you have people who are traveling, if your family's been before, but you're bringing your in-laws who this is their first Disney cruise, can I check in for them so they kind of bump up in status?
No, No, it doesn't cross the line that way. So there's a way you can beat that system, and that's on paper. Put somebody who is a Castaway Club member. So let's say, so I'll be Pearl in May. So let's say I take a new sailor into my stateroom. They'll be able to book their activities because they're in a Pearl stateroom. So they're not going to, so for instance, my son and my grandkids have never sailed. We had to wait until the 75-day mark to book his shore excursion. So we were hoping and panicking that what we wanted to do would still be available. And it was.
Oh, good.
But that could be a little nerve-wracking. And I'm platinum and my other son is gold. So we had to wait for that booking window to open for his stateroom. So it just,
Yeah.
it works by Castaway level, but everybody checks in for the cruise at 30 days.
Okay.
Everybody checks in at 30.
So that kind of levels the playing field there.
Right, for port arrival time.
Yes, yes. Oh gosh. And I know a lot of people will ask about, of course, Disney cruises are an investment, so they'll look for ways to save money, but it doesn't sound like a guarantee rate would be a best option if you want staterooms near each other, right?
Correct. Now,
Okay.
that doesn't mean we couldn't link you for dining, but I have had big groups where they're like, 3 of the staterooms, I'm not going to pay that. I want the guaranteed room. But you have to understand that you probably won't be near the full party, but you can save money that way. But you'll eat together. You could do your port adventures together. So if you want to save money and go guarantee, do it.
Yeah. And what if I'm got a family of 5 or 6, I've got, it's not enough to all be in one stateroom. Can my partner and I be in one room and have the kids in another room? Or does one adult need to be in every single stateroom?
Technically they do. To book it, they do. But if you had connecting rooms, who would know where you're sleeping? Just, make sure the kiddos don't destroy the room, because that's not nice.
Yes, agreed. I know one year we did, parents were across the hall in the veranda and all the kids were in the inside stateroom across the hall, and there was just some extra room keys.
Right. You just swap the room keys around. On paper, though, we do have to book an adult in the stateroom.
Yes, but there's
definitely. Don't mind the swap of the room key.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and it looks like we have some other questions that have come in. Can you get adjoining staterooms with families?
Yes. So 2 will connect. So for us, we have 4 staterooms. So we have 2 connectors. I'll connect to my sister-in-law and the kids will all connect to each other, but we're side by side and the verandas will open. So we're going to have one long veranda.
Oh, that's cool. How do they do that?
They, you just tell your stateroom host, and the partition that shoots out between like the plexiglass and the wall actually folds back. They use a key and they fold it back. So you get one long veranda. You didn't know that?
No. Wow. You see, guys, learn something new every day. Wow. That's awesome. What's the most number of people that you can get into a stateroom on Disney?
5.
Okay.
And that's the deluxe family ocean view or deluxe family ocean view with veranda.
Got it. Okay.
And concierge can hold 5.
Okay. So anything more than that. And sometimes, right, it might be more efficient to get 2 staterooms anyways for 5 people, depending on what type of stateroom.
Yeah, honestly, we always had enough space.
Awesome.
I've done a lot of sailings with agents and we've put 5 in a room, and there's plenty of space in there for that, especially if you have the little kids. But if you want more space, getting 2 staterooms that connect isn't a great way to do it. It's really what's best for your family.
Yes, agreed. And this is a great question. Is there an off season that's better to go as a family?
Yes. And I'm going to say it, and you guys are going to be like, no. The best rates and the best time to plan a family cruise is actually end of August through September, price-wise, and that is because it is hurricane season. Now,
Mhm.
don't freak out, because just because it's hurricane season doesn't mean you're going to have a hurricane, and Disney's not going to sail you into the abyss of the eye of a hurricane.
Yeah.
So I've never had an issue. I had one cruise cancel on me, but they took really good care of me.
On
It's
that, yep.
sad. It's always sad when a cruise cancels. We all learned that during the time that we shall never speak about again.
Yes,
That
yes.
18 months with all the cancellations. That's painful, especially if you planned a vacation, but Disney's not going to put you in danger. Some people get lucky to have an extended stay because the ship will stay safe and won't return to port. So
Oh,
sometimes you get a few extra freebie nights.
sign
And
me
they,
up for those.
park the ship in a space that's safe from the hurricane. Usually that means going into the Caribbean or around the other side, depending on where the hurricane is. But usually I've had some clients get extra days.
Wow. Oh my gosh. If only you could just magically tack on extra days all the time. But I know that taking kids out of school is always something that parents and even grandparents probably struggle with. But a couple of days for a vacation, I'm super biased, but I say go on the cruise.
I took my kids out twice a year, once for Disney, once for the cruise line. And the deal was if their grades were good and they caught up on their homework, that's fine, because you can't give them life back.
Yeah.
So the memories they had, and they were top students in college. They got into the colleges of their choice. So
Mhm.
obviously, and that's up to each family. I'm not going to say you have to, but I always took my kids out.
Yeah. You know your kids best, you know your family situation best, but if you have a little bit of flexibility, that's definitely a good time to go. And
Hmm.
just talking a little bit about some of those things that might come up. If you have a large family that wants to go and you have somebody last minute, a cousin who decides that, okay, they got time off and they want to be added on, or last minute somebody can't sail because of a work situation, how do you handle that?
Okay, two different things. So adding somebody later sometimes can be hard, because remember, they only put so many people in the area of a ship because it's a lifeboat issue. So
Oh, that's
sometimes it might look like the room holds five, and you're going to call me and say, hey, I want to add this fifth person. And I'm going to call DCL and they're going to say, can't add them. And you're going to come back and say, but that sleeps five. And I'm going to say, yes, but we're at capacity with the lifeboats in that section of the ship. So no, we can't add that person. So it's always better to add more
Mhm.
if you think somebody's going to come with you, and then cancel them before that pay in full date. Now, you can pull somebody off and replace somebody,
Okay,
but there's a $50 name change fee.
got it.
And
Okay.
that's after pay in full. You can swap out anybody but that lead guest all the way up until pay in full at no charge. But if you swap somebody out, so that person who can't go for work,
Mhm.
found somebody to take his place, that's going to cost you $50.
Got it. You don't get a refund from Disney if they can't go, right?
Not unless they have travel insurance.
Got it. Okay.
COVID's
And
over.
yeah, and is that the same case for a guarantee rate room, or are you not allowed to change names on a guarantee rate?
Guarantee, yes. Restricted guarantee, the guaranteed with restrictions, no. No name change, no cancellations, no changing sale dates. It's paid in full at the time of booking.
Got it.
So
Okay.
there's two different guarantee statuses.
And if you're watching right now and you're confused on what all these rooms are, reach out to Laura.
Mhm.
She can break it down because Disney has so many different letters and numbers and categories of rooms that it
Mhm.
can get a little confusing, even for seasoned sailors. So no worries there. And then what about, we got this question the other day, and I thought it was super interesting. If I am pregnant and I will
Mhm.
be going on board and I will have the baby at that point, but we haven't decided on a name yet. What do I put down on the reservation?
It could be TBD,
Okay,
last name, or for clients, I go baby
got it.
Smith.
Okay.
And they give the birthday. They have to put a birthday in the system in order for you to be able to pull it up on your app. So if I don't have a birthday in there, you can't add your reservation to the app because it's not a complete reservation. So we usually pick your due date as the
Okay.
date of birth. And then when the baby's born, you just tell me when the baby was born, what the baby's name is and what the baby's birth date is. And I fix that all.
Got it. Okay. So easy process. If you don't have a name picked out for your baby that far in advance, that is okay. Don't stress about it.
But do put the baby on the reservation
Ooh.
because you want to make sure the baby has a place to sleep
Oh,
and the
yeah.
ship doesn't sell out in that section. So again, I always say book who you really think is going to go, even
Yeah.
if you're unsure of maybe one of the guests. Just put them in the room
Mhm.
just in case.
Yes, rather be safe and overbook, just like with packing, right? Do I need
Right.
18 pairs of pants for this trip? No, but just in case.
Just in case, you never know, you might need that extra dress, I
Yes.
don't know.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. I never need it, but you just never know.
It is so true.
And what about communicating with family on board with so many people? Is there a way for us to all keep in touch if we say we want everybody to meet in the grand hall for a picture?
You have two ways of doing that. So you have the chat feature in the DCL app, and everybody needs to download that. And everybody who has a phone, even the littles, because they'll be able to text you when they want to come out of the club. I'm not talking about the 3 and 4-year-olds. I'm talking about the older ones who might have a phone. Like I
Mhm.
know 8-year-olds with phones.
Oh,
Um,
so crazy to
it's
me.
true because I've seen it. So if the 8-year-old has a phone, you want to make sure that person has the app as well, because then you can have the chat feature and you can chat each other. But also if you have iPhones, the free Wi-Fi that runs the app actually allows the iPhones to communicate. So you
Awesome.
can use texts. And in a way, there's a negative and there's a positive. Before the DCL app took off and we had those wave phones that everybody laughed about, I was able to go on a cruise, take this little baby, lock it in the safe, and
Yeah.
not worry about it. Now I don't get to do that. And I can get phone calls, messages, emails, like the whole caboodle.
I know. I do miss being totally disconnected on board. I mean, it is nice having such a great camera, but if somebody doesn't want to have their phone on them, is there a way that they can still participate and know about the navigator? And
You can ask for a paper navigator at guest services. They are not given in the rooms anymore. They're trying to be environmentally, not wasting paper because those all get
yeah,
thrown away, right? 4,000 guests, the 4,000 navigators that end up in somebody's trash. So they do upload it to the app. But if you don't have a phone, you can always get the navigator from guest services. The boards in the atrium will list the activities. Your cruise director will make daily announcements with what's going on. You don't need it.
yeah.
Um, but
But I
there's no
think
more wave phone. So if you want to keep in touch with your family.
yeah, although it is rather easy to bump into people on board, it's easier to coordinate when you can just shoot somebody a message in the app. And I know over on the Disney Cruise Line community Instagram, we're showing a video, the emojis, the Disney emojis that you can
Are
use.
they not the cutest?
They're so, I wish I could have a Mickey bar emoji on my phone on a day-to-day basis.
I
I mean,
tried copying and pasting it.
yeah,
You
oh
can't.
gosh, that would be awesome. And so another question that came up was if we are celebrating a family reunion, if grandma and grandpa are bringing the whole kit and caboodle on board, is there anything special that Disney will do for us or anything special that we should be thinking about? Any group rates or anything like that?
Okay, Disney doesn't do group rates.
Okay.
But that's where working with a travel agent like me helps because I give onboard credit to each of the rooms. So it's kind of like a little bit money back in your pocket. Disney doesn't have a reunion per se, but I think this is back. I will have to double check. You used to be able to make your own like cocktail hour.
Oh, fun.
where they charged you like 12 bucks a person. And if you wanted to add food, it was a little more. And of course, this was all pre-COVID. I have to see if they brought those back. But you can always do a meetup in any of the, bars, and the kids are allowed in the bars areas until 9 p.m. It's
Yeah.
family time. So you can include all the generations and do a meetup there. You could also order fun things to the staterooms before you sail.
Yes.
And we could tell your dining team that you're celebrating, and they sometimes do some fun stuff. I won't give it away.
Yes. And what about,
There's,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, there is some dining crew that have pretty amazing voices. So
Ooh.
opera type. So you never know.
Oh, I love it. And gosh, so many great questions are coming in. Guys, keep sending them. What if I'm celebrating a wedding? If I'm thinking about getting married on board, is that something that you would recommend doing, whether on board or at Castaway?
I am actually planning one of those right now. We just booked
Ooh,
one for 2024 for a family of
so
there's
exciting.
31, and they have to decide where they want to get married. I mean, that's the first part. If they want atrium, you have to be at an island because you don't want people running through the atrium. And but yes, Disney Weddings gets involved with that.
Okay. And so that's something that you can still help coordinate.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, let's answer some of these questions that are coming up. Oh, this one's a great one. So what activities for the family are there? We've heard about comedy clubs or trivia nights. What are some of your favorite things to do on board as a family that you're looking forward to doing with your kids and grandkids?
Oh, I can't wait to go to the art classes with the kids and draw the Disney characters. And I love doing that, like all that fun stuff. I know
Yeah,
that the boys are looking forward to their tastings, and
yeah.
but at night the whoever's going to be on the ship, I don't know what the entertainment's going to be next week, but 8 nights means I'm probably going to have some sort of comedian, and he'll do a show in the theater for the littles,
Mhm.
in place of the show. So that's a fun way. You bring the whole family to the theater, and it's family friendly and a lot of fun. But at night, when it's adult only time in the clubs, that same person comes back and does a more adult show. So
Mhm.
it could be a magician, it could be a comedian, who knows? We had a
Yeah.
hypnotist.
Those are always the best. Oh my gosh. My sister got called up on stage once, and I will never forget. She was famous on board for what she was doing on stage. It was great. But you're right. There's so much to do. I mean, you mentioned the drawing classes. They have the cooking classes
Oh, they
too.
have
And
everything. Like, it goes beyond like the tastings everybody talks about. Oh, I got to get mixology or martini tasting. There are some really cool, fun things like the cooking. Um, they have the chefs come in and show you how they do certain desserts, and it's so much
yeah.
fun. And the drawing with the kids, I mean, they come out and they draw real characters. Like, and I'm
It's
not even an artist, but then there's bingo, and there's tons of different family shows and stuff like
yes.
that.
All the shows, all the character meet and greets. I mean,
Oh,
there's so much included. There's the sports court. Yeah. Now, if you want to go play basketball or do mini
go play
golf,
you want to go
there's
play, what is that?
ping pong.
Ping pong, and what's the other one? The puck,
Um,
air hockey.
oh, yes, yes,
Sounds like.
yes. Oh, I love it. So, Lori, there is no shortage of things to do as a family on board. I mean, even the Broadway performances, there's movies all day. And you can do one of my favorite things is just hang out by the pool, eat chicken tenders and French fries, and watch movies on the big screen. I
Chicken
mean,
nuggies.
they're the best. Disney has the best ones. A question here: are 7 days better than 5 day cruises?
Who are you asking? Me?
I know.
Because I'm
I'm like,
going to tell you 7, only because
the
I
more
really
days, the
enjoy
better.
them. But again, that's going to be up to the family. Some people have had it after 5. Some people cry they wish they had booked 7.
Yeah.
For me, 7's not long enough, so I found an 8. I'm sure that 8's not going to be long enough. So
Yes, there's never a cruise that's long enough. And that's something where, work with Laura, work with your travel agent, understand your budget because it's not, Laura and I did a video and we can link to it after we hop off. But there's so much more to plan than just the cruise, right? If you're
Right.
flying in, the airlines ahead of time, the hotel, where you stay, the transportation. So looking at kind of the overall experience to know what your all-in budget's going to be, Laura can kind of help you navigate that.
Yes,
But I totally agree. 7 days, anything shorter is just a tease, in my opinion. But
I would agree.
I'm a little biased on that one too. This one. So, is it true that kids clubs will message parents if kids don't have their own phone?
Mhm. The kids club will always have a way to get in touch with you because they don't want your child to be miserable and they don't want you to be miserable worrying. So if there's a problem, they will get hold of you, even if they have to contact somebody in the ship to go looking for you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't hear your phone. You could be in the pool at Quiet Cove and not hear your phone go off. Somebody will come get you.
Yes, they know where everybody is on board. Safety is definitely a key concern. So they will know how to get in touch with you. Does Disney Cruise Line offer wheelchair rentals?
They do have some on board, but of course that's going to be first come, first serve. So I would normally rent a wheelchair outside that would be delivered to the port for you, just in case if you really needed one.
Mhm.
But it is first come, first serve. And they do have on Castaway Key, and I'm sure the new island will too. They have the beach wheelchairs. But again, that's whoever grabs them first gets them.
Yes, yes. Remember when we were there a month or two ago, there was a limited number at the time, but they are definitely there right when you get off the ship. And
Mhm.
Disney wants to make sure that everybody has a good time.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about family activities, but what about kid specific activities?
Those can be found in the kids club all day long, and they have different things. The characters will go down there and dance with them. I know Tinkerbell runs through her area in the kids
Ooh,
club. And then they have all sorts of activities, and that will be in the navigator. So if there's something special going on in the kids club outside of the regular, everybody's playing.
yeah.
They will put that in there. So it could be learn to color, it could be learn to navigate a ship, it could be anything. Playtime with Mickey or Marvel characters, depending on your sailing and what's available. The kids are entertained all the time. It's all about those kids clubs,
I
all
was
about them.
Yeah, I remember my parents having to pull us from the clubs to go and eat dinner because we were just excited to get to make flubber for the first time
Yeah.
or to build a race car out of soap. So I mean, I have some screen recordings of some of the events that we did that were offered on the last cruise that we did, the Pixar Day at Sea. So, like Laura said, there might be some specific things. I know something super cool was they had the little army guys from Pixar lead an event in the
Did they
atrium.
really? Oh, I love
It
that.
was awesome. And they were like on the hunt for Mike Wazowski was doing a photo shoot at the top of the atrium stairs. And they were like, what is that thing? And they had all the kids involved, looking with their fake binoculars. It was awesome. And then they all were kind of run into different parts of the atrium together. So this is always my biggest piece of advice to anybody planning a Disney cruise is do not overplan because there are awesome things that you don't even know about that Disney is constantly adding and you don't know until you get on the ship. So
And that
don't,
is true because you see the stress. I see do I have to be on at midnight to get XYZ?
yeah,
And the answer is no, because you can get these things once you board, first of all. They always hold reservations back. So take a deep breath because you don't need to have all these things planned. Like,
yeah,
if you don't get the royal gathering, I know that could be sad, but
yeah,
honestly, go down to the atrium or the grand hall. The princesses will wave at you. It's not like they're going to ignore you.
yeah,
Um, just try not to stress. And magic happens. Disney doesn't like to say no. So look at those navigators.
yeah,
Explore the ship. Come outside the comfort zone of this Walt
yes.
Disney World. I have to plan every second of every minute of I have to get here for this ride. That's not what this is.
Yeah, it's so much more relaxing and don't put the pressure on yourself, especially if you're like the one kind of taking charge of planning if you don't get, like Laura was saying, the Royal Gathering or Olaf's Picnic, do not let your vacation get made or broken because of one thing like that. We saw Cinderella just walking through the hall one day. We saw Belle just hanging out in the
Yes.
atrium one day, not planned. It's
And
okay.
sometimes they come down and they dance. So
Yes.
just be in the atrium when they're taking pictures between your show and your dinner
Yeah.
and enjoy it, because characters come out and they play with you. It's not like Disney where they have a handler and you can't touch the character. They are
Yeah.
back. They are out there. They are giving hugs. They are dancing with you. Peter Pan whipped me around and danced with me. Like,
Yes.
it's just fun. Go have fun. It's
Oh, great. Yes. Take some pressure off of yourself. And then, oh, okay. Good question here. What is your favorite chip?
I don't know.
I know. Can you say all of them? Is anything with Disney in the front of it an acceptable
Uh,
answer?
I think they're all beautiful and they all have their own personalities. I will say that I am in love with the Disney Wish. Not to say she's my favorite, because I love the fantasy and the dream and the magic and the wonder, but I'm a little obsessed with the Wish right now.
Yes, the Wish is
It is.
amazing. And what about best stateroom? That kind of depends, right?
Best stateroom, how? Like best category, best location? Because I'm going to tell you the best location to be is midship if you don't like motion. If you're like me and you want to feel a little bit of rocking because it puts you to sleep, I like forward or aft. I put most of my clients midship because they are usually a little worried, especially if they've never sailed before, about the motion, and the center's a little more stable.
Mhm.
I'm a concierge girl, so I'm going to tell you the best staterooms are located in concierge. But there's no bad stateroom on the ship.
No,
None. They
they
all have plenty of space. They all have 2 bathrooms except for standard inside rooms. They all have uh, enough space, enough beautiful little
yeah,
areas in your room. They're all gorgeous. There's no
yes.
best stateroom.
I totally agree. As long as you're on the ship, you are in the right room.
Mm-hmm.
And then, are you allowed to bring a 12-pack of soda or canned juice on board? I know some people bring water, and adults have a certain amount of alcohol
Yeah.
they can bring, but can you bring a
If
12-pack?
you absolutely can, but you can't put it in your checked luggage. So that means you're going to carry it onto the ship and carry it until your room is ready. So keep that in mind when
Yeah.
you're bringing the big cases, because they can't get checked in your luggage.
Yes, and keep in mind Disney does. I'm not sure what exactly you're planning on bringing on board, but Disney does have plenty of. I'm a Midwest girl, so I'll say pop. Plenty of pop options, tea, juices, up on deck.
Soda,
So yes,
unlimited amounts. So you don't necessarily have to bring a 12-pack of soda, just bring a refillable cup and get free soda all day long. And
yeah.
juices too,
I was going to say
all
all the
day
dining
long.
rooms. Yeah. So maybe reach out to Laura depending on exactly what you're planning on bringing. Do you know how late the kids clubs are open?
Vibe, which is for the 14 to 17-year-olds, is 2 in the morning. Edge, I think, is also 2 in the morning. And the Oceaneers Club and Lab is midnight, I want to say.
Got it. Makes sense. And what about the bars? How long are those open?
Basically, they stay open till about midnight, 1 o'clock. But if you're still in there drinking, nobody's going to shut you down.
No.
After 2, probably, because even our crew needs to sleep. I think people forget that sometimes.
Yes.
The
Yes.
bartenders do need to go get some sleep because they're bartenders all day long on board,
Yeah.
not just for the few hours you see them in the bar.
Yeah. I was gonna
So
say those same bartenders are up on deck with you in the adult only area, and then they're moving into the bars. So they
right,
need
this crew works all day, and I can't stress that enough. I've seen some posts on the page in the group that just make me cringe. No, the movies don't show on Funnel Vision at 7 in the morning for your kids because people are sleeping.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
like there's movies in your room, and the crew does need to sleep. So no, restaurants don't open at 5 in the morning, but room service is available. So
Yes, there are ways to make sure that everybody has a great time on board, but that crew is just second to none.
working so hard.
Yes, to make sure that you and your family have the best cruise. And I love this one. So we're planning our 25th wedding anniversary. That is so exciting.
Yay, that's amazing.
Yes, congratulations. Laura and I did a video a couple, probably months ago at this point, about all the great ways that adults have fun on board. So we'll make sure to link that after. And of course, reach out to Laura if you need any help in planning, because her planning services are totally free to you to use. And then can you talk more about Disney transportation? I'm a big fan of DCL transport.
I know. Rebecca
What do you think?
loves it. I was more of the take Happy Limousine to the port.
Yeah.
Like I like private transfers. But DCL transfers are actually really fun. So what it is you add it to your reservation, and it could take you from the airport to the port back to the airport, or it could take you from Disney World hotels to the port, from the port to the airport. And if you're outside of Port Canaveral and you're sailing out of Miami, they do have hotels that they partner with where the bus will pick you up from that hotel and take you. I remember they're not going to be in Miami anymore. They're coming to Fort Lauderdale, and that will make things a lot easier for everybody. And they'll do the same thing. They're partnering with hotels that you could add pre-cruise and put it into your cruise fare, and the bus picks you up right from there.
Perfect.
And it makes it very easy.
Yeah.
If you have more specific questions, let me know.
I know that I love the transfers, but if you have a big family party, if you and the in-laws and the grandparents and everybody are going, it might not be the most economical option. So you might want to.
I don't think it is, because it's almost $78 round trip per person on Disney Cruise Line. So if you have a group of 10, that's a lot of money. Whereas we can get you a private transfer for probably from MCO to, let's say, Port Canaveral, that would be $168 to $180 one way for 10 of you. So like it could be more economical to go private transfer, but that again is up to you.
Yes, and you can the Uber and Lyft options are always there, but I know a lot of people prefer to have something planned, so it's just not a variable. You have to worry about traffic or not having enough drivers available. And then I know we'll never know how these go so fast. So if you guys have any last questions, send those in. Okay, this is an interesting one. Will Disney Cruise Line allow early access to room for medical reasons?
I am sure they make exceptions, but that really depends on how fast they turn the ship over. I mean, they from 9:30, well, actually 9. They want you out of your staterooms by 8. Some people don't listen, so they start rolling over that ship. But it's a process. There's a lot of staterooms. So I don't know that they can guarantee early access, but we could certainly mark the reservation for you. But it really is up to the stateroom hostess. There were just who was in your room before. Were they early or late seating? When did they get out of the room? It's really hard to guarantee that you would have early access. The only way you could be guaranteed your room be ready when you board is concierge. Yes. Those rooms are ready to go.
Or if you're back to back and you can just stay in the same stateroom.
Right. Because they don't have to turn over any room. But that's really, it's hard to guarantee that you have early access.
Yes. So definitely make those arrangements ahead of time. And we can make this the last question for the night. I know your dog has wanted to participate. So are service dogs allowed on the ship?
They are, but they really have to be service dogs. And Disney will ask for all of the proof, all of the paperwork, and they even have little doggy, well, the Wish has a little doggy relief area with cute little fire hose. But the other ships, they'll give you like a piece of fake grass to put on your balcony and your veranda, and Yes, service dogs are absolutely permitted. I see them all the time, and Pluto plays with them. It's just too much. I can't.
Melt my heart. Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This has been awesome. I know I've learned a lot. If you need any help in planning your Disney Cruise Line vacation, your Disney vacation, or just a cruise vacation in general, Laura can help you with all of those things. You can see her link on screen, and I'll also put that back in the comments so you guys can reach out to her with any questions that you might have. But we will see you guys next time. We'll see you on board. Everybody have a great night. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.